We are back. Game week, what, 22? Incredible. This season feels like it's absolutely flown by. Yeah. Been a while since we've done one of these. Feels like it's been an entire month. It pretty much has, hasn't it? The last deadline was like the beginning of January. And we're all the way on the 30th. And game week 22 is about to start. We got some news on Erling Haaland. Bit of an update on Salah as well. So that's quite interesting. Question mark for me is, do I bring Erling Haaland into my team this week? That's going to be an interesting one to get to the bottom of. Hello, Dakshin and Shaniel in the chat. Afternoon, everyone. Shaniel, saw your message about custom emojis. I do know that other YouTubers have it. I just haven't gotten around to doing it myself. I'll have a look into that one, mate, so you can have a custom emoji. I don't know. Is that the kind of thing where I pull a funny face and you can put it in the chat? I reckon that'd be quite funny. I've got some good funny faces I can pull, but I'll reserve that, especially for emoji people. Yeah, tough week this week in terms of transfers, I think, for some players. So I'll do a couple little segments going through people's teams. I won't. What I have realised I've done is I've spent a lot of time on previous streams, looking at people's teams, and I do find that people's teams are quite similar. So I'll probably do 4 or 5 at a time, then have a little break, and then do another 4 or 5. And I find that helps out a lot with, well, even if you can't see your team, you know, my advice for other players might help you. And again, I never suggest I'm an FPL expert, right? It's just someone else's opinion about your team. But hopefully that's going to be helpful. Got my score predictions, top players for expected points by position. I've got a little quiz, done 4 little quiz questions for you if anyone's missed the quiz. Yeah, draft handle, I'll have that up. We'll have a look and see, really. And yeah, obviously I've got to decide what I'm going to do with my team. I'll quickly show you my team before we get into any of the main content, if you like. Hopefully it'll work. There's my team. Get rid of that little deck on the bottom. Currently got Saka as my captain. I think he's probably the best captain of the players I have. I do like Phil Foden, but I am hesitant to captain a player that doesn't take penalties. And I do feel like Saka could do quite well. Question mark for me, though, is what do I do? I got 2 free transfers with this team and over 11, I think 13 million in the bank. So the way I'm seeing it, I think I need to bring Erling Haaland in this week. I've got 2 frees and a team that is pretty good already. I feel like I could bring Haaland in for Archer this week, and then I'll have 2 frees next week to deal with whatever news we have. The question mark is, though, if I bench, if I bring in Erling Haaland for Archer, I'm obviously going to start Haaland. Who do I bench? I think probably worth benching Anthony Gordon at a stretch, given how good Villa are at home. But yeah, that is a bit of a dilemma for me to have to deal with here. So your dilemma there, Dakshin, keep or sell Salah? I think I'd be... It depends. If you can field an 11 that you're really happy with, and Haaland's just on the bench, Salah's just on the bench, then I think you can keep him. But in the other side, if you've got a team you're not happy with, I think Salah's going to miss the next couple of FPL game weeks. So if you can get away with it, I'd probably look to sell him, to be honest. I do feel like his price is probably going to drop, but I mean, ultimately, price doesn't really matter. You need to do what's best for your team. Oh, got a new jumper as well. Hope you like it. Little grey mile sweatshirt job. I like my plain clothes at the moment. It looks really bright on the camera, but I'm quite liking this jumper at the moment. What are we going to look at? I've done some score predictions if anyone's interested. We'll have a quick run through those. Arsenal, Nottingham Forest. I think Arsenal are going to win that one 3-0. Everton and Fulham. I think Everton are just a little bit better than Fulham. I think they'll edge that one 2-1. Luton and Brighton. Had that been at the Amex, I'd have Brighton probably winning that 3-0. But given it's at Kenilworth Road, I feel like Luton are going to score probably a couple of goals. But I do feel like Brighton going forwards are just a bit too much for them. I think they'll win that 3-2. Palace and Sheffield United. I've got a feeling that ends in a draw. Elise is back for Crystal Palace, so they'll score goals, no problem. But I do feel like Sheffield United are... Yeah. Under Wilder, they could score a couple and draw the game. Villa and Newcastle. Excuse me. I've gone for a 1-1 in that game. 1-1. Man City, Burnley. That's always a big game for Man City goals. They always seem to absolutely hammer Burnley when they play them. So So we've gone 4-0 to Man City in that game. Spurs and Brentford, I'm looking at 3-1 to Spurs, despite having double Brentford defence. I feel like Tony could score. Liverpool and Chelsea. Chelsea, I always feel, I don't know what anyone else thinks, I always feel that Chelsea play to kind of the level of the opposition. They don't play very well against the bad teams, but they play well against the good ones, and I think they'll give Liverpool a decent game at Anfield. I don't think they'll win it, but I've gone 3-2 to Liverpool. I think it'd be a close game. West Ham and Bournemouth, at the moment, I'd say both teams are fairly evenly matched. I don't think Paquetá is going to be back. I mean, it's a couple of days until that game actually happens, but I reckon that's going to be 2-2. I feel like Bowen could well score, knock a couple. Likewise, Solanke. I've gone 2-2 on that one. And Wolves and Man United. Man United not looking great. No Rashford. I reckon that's going to be a 1-1 draw. Those are my predictions there. Let me know in the chat what you guys think of those scores. Quick look then at the players by position for expected points. Goalkeepers, and top of the list for goalkeepers is Steele of Brighton, which is quite interesting. Martinez in second place, my goalkeeper. Pickford, Raya, Jose Sa, Petrovic, Areola, Edison, Allison and Johnston. Defenders, Walker, Estupiñán, Gabriel, Porro, Moreno, Zinchenko, Ake, Van Heck, White and Ruben Diaz. Actually, just on the Rashford point, I don't think that's confirmed. He didn't play, obviously, against Newport, but given everything that's surrounded him at the moment, I wouldn't be surprised if he was benched. Here are your top defenders. Midfielders, Diogo Jota is actually the top midfielder this week, 6.9. Kevin De Bruyne, 6.6. Foden, 6.4. Bernardo, 6.0. Saka, Richarlison, Palmer, Martinelli, Odegaard and Ward-Prowse. When you look at how close the captaincy is this week, there are 5 midfielders within a point of each other. So, yeah, that captaincy call is rough this week. It's a really tough one. Then the forwards, leading the list, we've got Julian Alvarez, Darwin Núñez, Tony, Højlund, Watkins, Isak, Jesus. Werner's up there. Werner. He's up there, but I'm not sure. Neil Mopai and João Pedro are the top forwards. I actually really like João Pedro at the moment. I'd say Foden, mate, because he doesn't blank in game week 26. And I reckon, I might do a feature on him in my video that I make tonight, but when it comes to game week 25, right, Liverpool will have the double game week that they're expected to. That's all right, mate. Jota's obviously playing on the right, and that's where Salah plays. So when Salah is fit, obviously, Jota's played so well that I think it's a hard case to leave him out. But given he is mainly a right winger for Liverpool, where does Jota play? Do you reckon he just gets started on the left? Do you reckon that happens? Or could it just be Diaz or Darwin on the left? Do you know what I mean? It could be Jota through the middle, I guess. Yeah, who would your Salah replacement be? Jota, I like Jota. If you're directly replacing Salah at the moment, I like Jota. Is KDB a start? I think so. Also like KDB as a replacement, Ben, to be honest. Likewise, Bernardo Silva. Saka is a good replacement as well, because he's a good captain this week if you don't already have him. Yeah. Depends on the state of your team as well, I'd say. I know I've recommended Jota, but obviously if you're getting rid of Salah this week, he's a reasonable transfer in. But when you get to game week 25, is he going to play both games of the double? I guess he does play. He can play on the left wing and through the middle for Liverpool, can't he? And given the form he's in, you'd think that Klopp will play him. But yeah, I just think you got to play a bit devil's advocate on that one with Jota. Does he play alongside Salah? Don't know. Captaincy, well, at least according to Draft Hound, Diogo Jota is the top player for expected points this week, 6.9. And you can see there, I mean, the top 5, this is top 6 players this week are split by 0.9 expected points. So the captaincy is really, really close. And actually, you know what? Before we go to clean sheet odds, I'm going to see what FPL Review's saying. There's me looking at Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't mind bringing in Haaland this week, to be honest, mate. I don't mind bringing in Haaland this week. I'll be bringing in Haaland this week. I think that's going to be my move. Although that's very much my team than anything else. Interesting. We just want 1 week. How do we do that? Ben, big ups, mate. It's got a little grey mole jumper job as well. Thank you very much. I appreciate the compliment. Am I looking at... Oh, bloody hell. I'm trying to use FPL review and I'm rubbish. There we go. So top player for game week 22 is Alvarez, according to review. But even then, there's like the top 6, 7 players, there's 1 point in it. The captaincy it's so tough this week. Right, let's go back. Start Haaland or Palmer. Good grief. I think I'd start both of them and bench someone else, mate, to be honest. I think Palmer's one of the best players in the game. I really wouldn't want to bench him. Elanga to De Bruyne, Trippier to Bell, or another cheap defender, and then have some extra money. Fair enough. It's a heavy hit. Ben, once I get through the little bits of content I've got to share, I'll happily look at a few people's teams. My way of doing it this week, I'm conscious it can get quite heavy with me just looking at people's teams on stream, and it can also get quite like wearing on me as well. So what I'm going to do, the way I'm going to do it, I'll probably do 3 or 4 like windows of team reviews. But in those reviews, I'll look in a bit of detail and I'll pick 5 teams basically. And that's the way I'll do it, because there's only so much like divergence between people's teams that there will be. So even if I don't look at your exact team, hopefully like you can get something from what I say. And I was saying this on the intro as well, like I am not an FPL expert. I never claimed to be. But it's just useful to have a second opinion, isn't it? So that was the captaincy, bit of clean sheet odds. I mean, usually I don't like to start defenders below 30% to keep a clean sheet. So here's a view of what they're looking like. Teams above 30, we've got Man City top team, 62% to keep a clean sheet, according to Drafthound. Palace, Arsenal, Brighton, Liverpool, Tottenham, Villa, Fulham, and then Everton and United on 29. So they're a bit here or there. All right. I'll just have a quick look at my team, just tell you what I'm looking at doing with that. So right now I have 2 free transfers, 13.3 million in the bank, and I know I've got 2 benchers that are terrible, but that team is very much viable for this week, right? I don't feel like that needs a transfer. And given, you know, obviously Haaland's a risk this week, right? No doubt about it, but given the position that my team is in at the moment, I can afford to do Archer to Haaland. I think I might well just do it. And then bench Anthony Gordon this week. Question, will I captain Haaland? That's a tricky one. I'm not too sure. I think if I don't captain Haaland, it'll be Saka. He's the second best captain, I think. Just because he's on the penalties. I really like a penalty taker. But I mean, other than that, I mean, if anyone in the chat sees a transfer there that I can make other than just doing Archer to Haaland because I can, then yeah, please shout. But I don't see any reason to not do it, really. The rest of my team I'm really happy with. I would consider Richarlison if I had him, yeah, I would. I do feel like Brentford show up for the top level opposition there. That'd be the only thing I'd say, but I'd consider him for a captaincy, yeah. Let's see what review says again. Yeah, he's up there. He's up there. He's probably going to take the pens as well, which is, I really like a penalty taker for a captaincy because, I don't know, how many times have you had a captain that's done well because they've taken a penalty? You know, I just like a pen taker, and I think Richarlison will take the pens. Obviously, it's not nailed on that he will, but yeah. I will do some team reviews now, actually, because, yeah, we'll do some team reviews. I'll do 5 teams. So if you want to put in your FPL ID or team name, I'll select the first 5 that come into the chat. Or if there's a member in here that wants their team reviewed, obviously they get priority. That's the rules. So put in your team ID. I'll review 5 of them, and then we'll do a bit of quiz. I'll just look at the chat. Cheers, everyone. I'll cut off at Reedy. That's the last one I'll do, and then we'll pick up later on. Thank you, everyone, for sending in your teams. I'll stop at Reedy this and do the teams, and then we'll come back to anyone else. But I imagine some teams you'll see in the reviews will be quite similar to yours. I'll just have a look at the chat before I do that. George bought Werner for 1 week. Melvin, I hopefully answered that. Palmer will be number 9. That's really interesting. Yeah. Do we think Palmer will do well against Liverpool? Yeah, Shanu, I think it's Saka. I think I already just said that. Yeah, I do think Saka personally is a must-have at the moment. Thank you, his army. Please like, subscribe, and share if you're enjoying the stream. You like Palmer as captain? Oh yeah, no, you're saying Richarlison there, Ben. Fair enough. I would start Palmer. I just really like Palmer. I think he's better than Gross. And we will have a look. So I'm going to do Ben Meakin's team in the chat down to Reedy's. We'll do 5 and then go back to everyone else. Oh, Ben, you're in a really similar position to me, mate. Really similar position. The only annoying thing about your team is you've got Gabriel in there who might not play. You've got a really similar position to me, and I'm going to do Archer to Haaland this week, and I think you can do that too. I would probably do Archer to Haaland and then Poe Torres to Kyle. Oh, no, you can't do Archer to Haaland because you don't have the cash. I'm an idiot. Sorry. Let's see what the old assistant's saying here. Saying Salah to De Bruyne, but I guess rather than doing Salah to De Bruyne, Ben Meakin, if you're still in the chat, do you fancy De Bruyne as an option? Because if the answer to that is yes, I'd just do Salah to De Bruyne. And then just roll with that. Teams other than that is great. You don't like KDB. What else is it saying? I like the thought of bringing in Kyle Walker as well, because he'll do you nicely for the double. Gabriel's expected points are crazy. I also don't mind bringing in Tony for Archer. You could do that. And then you could get Haaland for Watkins or Darwin or something like that. But I like Tony. I think Tony could be a good transfer in. But what I would say is it definitely doesn't need wholesale changes. Yeah. Salah to Jota. Because he's got a double in 25. I know I played devil's advocate earlier about him, but he probably does feature in that double. The only thing I would say is your defence is a bit ropey if one of them doesn't play. So maybe Salah to Jota and then do something with your defence. Maybe Doty or Bell. Just get one of those in that you could use just in case one of them don't play. They may not have a double, but it's pretty likely that they will. That's all I'm saying there. So I do like Jota. Yeah. Let's just have a quick look at the old fixtures a sec. Let's just double check. So it's a 90% chance of being a double here. Brentford, Luton is the double. Tottenham have got Wolves on a single. I'll probably go Jota. probably go Jota, Ben. Right, next team was Ben. Another Ben. My good mate Ben Alden. Alden? Haha, he was messaging me last night, chat about his team. I couldn't help him. I don't know what to do here. I've got to be honest. Honestly, if you've got no idea what to do with your team, I'd do the minimum. I'd do the absolute minimum possible. And I reckon I'd do Gusto or Konza to Kyle Walker. Just because that sets you up nicely for double game week 25. You know, he's pretty much nailed on to play for City, despite all the drama that's been surrounding him. Like, he got naked in a pub, for example, and it was on camera and in the newspaper, and he still played for Man City after that. So, yeah, I think regardless of all the drama that's going on around him, I think he's still going to play. So I really like the thought of getting Kyle Walker in. Maybe that could just be your move this week. And then next week, you'll have 2 free transfers to deal with Erling Haaland, who you'll, have confirmation as to whether he's fit or not. And then you can do Alvarez to Haaland, Salah, involving Salah. That's probably the way I'd play it. But this week, you may as well use a transfer. And I reckon you should get Kyle Walker in. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. I don't know about you, Ben, but I'd probably do as little as possible and just bring Kyle Walker in. I think that's my view on that. You don't have to agree with that, of course. FPL Meerkat. This is an interesting team. Jota in and captain. Love it. I'd probably start Trent over Moreno. And I've got to be honest, no, I wouldn't do anything. I'd roll. I'd start Trent over Moreno and then just roll, if that is your team. I do apologise up front, Ben, if Walker doesn't play this week, but I do think he will. I'd just start Trent over Moreno, mate, and that's it. Benching Moreno for Palmer. Oh, yeah, fair one. Okay, so you're doing that then. Yeah, I like it. I don't think you need to do anything. And then you got a nice couple of frees to deal with your team when we get confirmation on Haaland. So I reckon that's nice and easy. We'll do Reedy. I'll do an exception because George was in the chat really early. I'll have a look at George's team as well. I feel a bit guilty not looking at his, so I will do that just because he was in the chat early. And then we'll have a look at the quiz. Bloody hell. What a team. What an absolute team this is, Reedy. There's just nothing I would do to it. Just leave it. I mean, what a team. And then come next week, you'll have enough cash to get Haaland in. You could use your transfer this week to get Haaland in. But looking at the state of your midfield, like, I don't think there's the, points profit in it. Because he probably gets limited minutes. And yeah. So I'd wait till next week to get Haaland in. And then I'll just roll this week, to be honest. I think your team's really good. Consider starting Gabriel over one of your other defenders, but can you justify it? No, not really. And then I'd say Richarlison, Foden or Saka captain. Oh, and I just don't think you can captain Foden, can you? Because it doesn't take pens. Richarlison, Palmer or Saka, those 3 are a captaincy option. And then I'll have a quick look at George's team, and then we shall do the quiz. Here you go, George, mate. Don't worry, I've not forgotten you. Just say this is the last team review I'll do. I'll take a little break, do a quiz, and then we'll get back to it in a second. What's George? I'm a bit. What's George done then, eh? Need second opinion. Personally, I think you can roll this week. I'd probably start Solanke over. Right. Probably start Solanke over Gabriel because I haven't seen Has anyone seen Gabriel in training this week? I don't think he's trained. So I'd just go with this team, Captain Jota. Spartans, good to see you in the chat, mate. Been a little while. Hope you're all good. Hopefully, well, I don't know how recently you've seen the channel, but since you were last here, I've bought a new camera. I hope you're appreciating that. So he has trained. I still prefer Solanke to Gabriel, to be fair. Ashton, I think it depends on your team. I'm going to get him because I can, and it's of no detriment to my team, but I think it's very individualised. This is my team. I've got an 11 that is absolutely fine. 2 free transfers and loads of money in the bank. So for me, it makes sense to bring Haaland in, just risk it. But if you have 1 free, a good team, probably just roll. And then you can use 2 frees to get him back in. I just think it's team dependent. But hopefully those generic words I've just said are helpful. Got a quiz if that's all right. They're all ready for the quiz, by the way, before we get into it. I've given away the first question already, but I thought it'd be nice to do a little bit of a quiz to keep the FPL juices flowing. And then when we've done the quiz, I'll have a look at 5 more draft time teams, if that's all right. I'm going to do the quiz. So, which player in the Premier League has gotten the most yellow cards this season? So you've got 4 options. Bruno Guimaraes, Nicholas Jackson, João Palhinha, or Rodri. Which of these 4 has the most yellow cards? Thank you very much, Spartans. I appreciate that, my friend. I'm glad to see you're doing well, my friend. I've added a new feature to these deadline streams as well, mate. I've got a quiz. I'll give it a few more seconds. Let some more answers roll in. We've got shouts for Guimaraes, Jackson, Guimaraes, João Palhinha, Jackson. The answer, ladies and gentlemen, is Bruno Guimaraes. He's got 9 yellow cards this season. I think that's 1 away from a suspension, isn't it? You get 10 yellows is another ban. So yeah, Bruno Guimaraes, most yellow cards in the Premier League this season, eh? It's obviously close with Jackson and the rest of them. Those are the top 4 that you saw in the answer, but Bruno Guimaraes has 9. Right, this was an interesting one. Which player has been dispossessed the most in the Premier League? So I guess which player has given the ball away the most in the Premier League this season? Lucas Paquetá, Dominic Solanke, João Pedro, or Jordan Ayew? Apologies, some of these players have accents above their names and surnames, but the font I was using for these slides doesn't have accents. So which player has been dispossessed the most? Couple shouts for Jordan Ayew, bit of Solanke. I'm going to have a drink while you guys answer that. These are quite hard this week, to be fair. They're not stats that most people just have in their heads, which is why I did it. I'll give it a couple more seconds. Few shouts for Ayew, Solanke, and Paquetá. The answer is Dominic Solanke. He has been dispossessed, apparently, according to the Premier League website, 54 times this season, which is the most. So yeah, Dominic Solanke, well done if you said him. 2 more questions. Which team, so rather than which player, which team has picked up the most yellow cards this season as a collective? We've got Wolves, Sheffield United, Aston Villa, or Chelsea? Which team has picked up the most yellow cards as a whole this season? The chat is looking like the very original Chelsea chant that they sing at the moment. Couple Chelseas, bit of Wolves. Aston Villa, interesting. Chelsea. The answer is Chelsea. 66 yellow cards this season. I think, yeah. I wouldn't say, well, Conor Gallagher's the player that's committed the most fouls. I looked at that stat when I was getting these quiz questions. But I think Chelsea are just ill-disciplined. Like, Jackson's been, like, kicking the ball away, hasn't he, for all his yellows? Right, final question. Right, then this one's a bit interesting. So you've got 4 big dogs in the Premier League, big dogs forwards and strikers. But which one of these is the top shot taker in the Premier League so far this season? Which one is it? You got Dominic Solanke, Mo Salah, Darwin Núñez, or Erling Haaland. Obviously, some of these guys might not have played all the games, but they obviously take a lot of shots. So, yeah, which one do you think has taken the most shots in the Premier League this season? Final question. I would say double points, but I'm not really doing points. A few shouts for Mo, bit of Núñez. Meerkat saying Solanke. I think Darwin Núñez has hit the woodwork the most and probably by this point missed the most big chances, although Erling Haaland was down on there for missing big chances as well. Couple shouts for Solanke there, Darwin Núñez. I'll give it 5 more seconds and I'll put you out your misery with an answer. The answer is... Oh, I hit the mic. Dominic Solanke. He's played all the minutes pretty much, hasn't he? Which I think has helped him. But he's taken 71 shots in the league so far this season. So there you go. He's the top shooter. I think he's really come on. I really say Tommy Conway. He's really come on leaps and bounds, hasn't he, this season, Solanke? You can tell he's really got his head down and worked really hard. Because he's really become a top quality striker. I don't know if anyone's seen Bournemouth recently. There are some games where he doesn't really get a sniff, but his hold-up play, all-round game, he's gotten really, really good. So yeah, good for you, Solanke, mate. Because he was a bit of a laughing stock previously. I think he went a load of games, because Bournemouth went up a couple seasons ago, didn't they? And I don't think he scored like 1 or 2 goals in the league, and he's played pretty much all the games. So yeah, it's really nice to see him doing well. Right, send me your FPL IDs again if you like. I'll do 1 out of 4. I'll do 5 more Draft Hound team reviews. So yeah, ping me your ID. I'll do the first 5 that come up into the chat. And of course, I give members priority. So if any members crack in their team IDs, then I will look at them as a priority because it's only fair. But yeah. Right, we got 5. Banner Boy. Banner Boy wants his team reviewed. Might need a bit more info than that, Banner Boy. I'll come back to you. Ashton. How does one become a member? There should be a join button. If you're watching on your mobile, I don't think you can do it on your phone. I think you can only become a member if you're watching me on a desktop. Have a look-see. I reckon. The thing is, I would show you, but I reckon the combined power of both of my camera and re-watching myself live on YouTube will probably crash my laptop. But if you do it on a desktop, I think it's pretty easy. You just press the join button. Right, we're looking at Ashton's team. Oh, man. What a team. I mean, there's just There's nothing I would really do here. Can you afford to get Haaland in a swoop? Oh, join button works on mobile as well. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I did have a little segment in all my videos where I was asking people to join, but don't really do that anymore. It costs more on iPhone. Yeah, don't do that. Do it on your desktop because you pay Apple a fee or something. I think. Just looking at Ashton's team here, you could do Edouard to Haaland, but then it involves benching a good player who could conceivably outscore Haaland this week. I would say Ashton, right? Rather than voice my opinion, 2 questions for you. Do you think Haaland starts? And if you brought Haaland in, would you captain him? I'll ask you those 2 questions. I'd bring him in there, mate. If you are looking to bring in a player to captain, then I would consider doing it. Hopefully that helps. Because that's not me giving you an answer. That's me asking you for what you think. And I don't think it's too bad a shout. I guess the worst case scenario is he comes off the bench. But I think if you think Haaland's the best captain, then I like it. I'd probably bring him in and then question who to captain. But yeah, if you think he's going to start, there's no way not to bring him in. Who do you bench? I'd probably say Gross. I really struggle, but I'd probably say Gross is the one to take the bench because I really like Bowen. Right, there's Ashton. SJ. 111 4000. That's easy to remember, isn't it? I'd start Watkins over Gabriel. Probably. God, that defense bench there. I mean, I really struggle there. Those are such coin toss decisions that I think you can start. Yeah, I mean, I would roll. I think I would quite comfortably roll with this team. I'd consider starting João Pedro over Gross. I'd probably do that. That's probably the 11 that I'd go for. You don't need to make a transfer with that team. I think that's fine. Haaland can come in at some point, but I don't think this is the week for him. See, Dan, you probably typed that message just as I said it on stream. I realised that came out just after. That was quite funny. But lovely team. You definitely don't need to make a transfer. Look, 497 overall. 497 overall. Bloody hell. Mate, why are you asking me for advice? But genuinely, if you're in that position, don't do anything rash or silly. Just keep doing what you're doing. You definitely don't need to make a transfer, in my opinion. 497th overall. Scenes. And you're 19 points away from top 100. That is crazy. Good on you, mate. Well played, sir. James Ailing. Jam Toaster. He's already got Haaland, look. Who's that Johnson lad, eh? Get him out. Nah, for real, I would probably just go with this team. Yeah, you already got Haaland. Good to see you too, Alexandru, mate. Good to have you in the chat. And yes, I'm glad you've been waiting for it, but likewise glad I could do something. We've not had a deadline for a while. Oh, Ben, big ups, my guy, the latest golden goal hero. I appreciate you very much, my friend. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that, Ben. Thank you very much, my friend. Thank you for all your support on the channel. Hopefully, I'm repaying it well. But yeah, really appreciate that, mate. Yeah, as for this team Jam Toaster, I wouldn't do anything with it. I think you can get away with rolling. I really do. And then one more Mbino FC. We're going to have a quick look at Mbino FC, and then we'll take a little break from the team reviews. I've decided, by the way, I'm very conscious I've got quite a few flying in the chat there. I've decided that I'm going to do 5 or 6 at a time, because it is quite taxing on the brain. But if a member puts their team ID in and wants that review, they always get priority. So I'll have a look at that. Blimey. With this team, whose team am I looking at? I've lost track. This is Melvin. I would bring in Haaland. I think I would. I'd do Archer to Haaland. But you got question marks, I guess, around your defence. But I think I would do Archer to Haaland. Just because you can. And then I'd consider benching Douglas Luiz for Haaland. Sell Trippier. Colwell is out, yeah. You've already got Walker. Yeah, I'd absolutely do Archer to Haaland. Just get him in a sec. Ignore the fact he's on 0, because that's just because Drafthound don't predict him to play. It's not quite up to date with the info that we have. We do that. I would probably do. Can you get? Yeah. I was going to say, can you get to Trent? Oh, bloody hell. Freddie Ebbing, thank you very much. That's very kind of you, my friend. With 2 new members. Unbelievable. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's very generous of you, my friend. I hope I can repay you with good content. One of the other benefits you'll get from being a member, although I think I will get it just up straight away to everyone tonight, is I'd say 95% of the videos I'll upload, you'll probably get 3 or 4 hours early. So, yeah, big ups. Thank you, everyone. Ben and Freddie for becoming members. And, of course, Alexandru and Shaniel for being here since basically day one. I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much. So, yeah, he can afford that. So, who was I looking at? Just going back to the team. Melvin Thomason. I think I'd bring both Haaland and Trent in. My brother Freddie, I can. I have one slight problem. I'm waiting for someone in the chat to type a message because your team is currently hidden. I think that says 796. So we'll have a look, mate. I'll just double check Freddie Ebbing because it doesn't match your name. I want to make sure I get the right team. Is that you? I'd also, obviously, you guys are very welcome to input on what you would like as a member. I'm obviously relatively new to the YouTuber members game. So if there's anything else additional you think I can chuck in there, I'm happy to hear it. Ah, there we go. Missed out some details. And likewise, if you'd rather be called something other than Golden Goal Hero, you're most welcome. I could change it. It's just something I thought of. It's quite cool. But yeah, I'd call it whatever you like. Oh, Freddie, mate. I wouldn't do anything with this team. This is a really good team. If that's your starting 11, I don't think you need to do anything with that. You've got cover if any of these guys don't play. It's just a question mark on captain, and I think it's so impossible. No, I don't think I will, Melvin. I think I'm going to keep Bowen. It's so hard on the captaincy because I think, Freddie, you've got 4 players that you could captain this week. You got Richarlison, Palmer, Saka, and Haaland. You could captain all of them. You know, Haaland's obviously if he starts, if we know he's going to start, he's obviously the best captain. Pep said he's available. Right. So I'll run through all the info that we have based on what I know about Erling Haaland, right? He was training in the Abu Dhabi training camp this time last week, exactly a week ago, because I made a video about it, he was pictured in training. He tweeted it himself, tweeted a picture of himself training, and Man City tweeted a picture of him training. So news from the best source, right? He's in training. That was a week ago. He's gotten back in the country for, however many days he's been. They were in the country for, obviously, for the Tottenham game. He didn't feature in the team for that, but he's been in training. He's been pictured part of like a winning team that's been in training. So if you're playing competitive games in training, I think you only do that if you're fully fit. So for that reason, I think Haaland is fit to play, and I think he's going to start. That's my opinion. I think he's going to start. But given how the nature of the injury, I just think he's going to get limited minutes. I think he's going to play 60, something like that. Is that better? Is 60 minutes of Erling Haaland better than 90 minutes of Richarlison in the form that he's in against Brentford, who are a bit shaky defensively, or Saka, who plays 90 against Forest, who aren't great defensively, and he's on penalties? It's really hard. I think you could... Those three could be captained likewise Palmer as well, right? And Ben Alden rightly pointed out he's probably going to play number 9 too. So, yeah. It's really tough, isn't it? That's kind of like my brain dump on the Haaland situation. And that's based on, like, I've not done any real speculation there. I've based that on... Obviously, I speculated that he's going to play, but I've based it on all the facts that we have so far. Even Bowen, he could be. You're right, he could be. I reckon FPL Maestro, I would personally captain Richarlison over Foden, because I do think De Bruyne will slightly stifle Foden's output, and I just like having a penalty taker as my captain. If that's the difference between two players, I'd always favour the penalty taker, because I really like him. Elise, I like. Palace long term, what are their fixtures like? Let's have a quick look. Definitely Palmer over Rashford. I think Rashford's he's not in a good place at the moment. And regardless of whether he even plays, do you think he's going to be full fitness, full confidence? Not sure. I think Elise took a pen when both him and Eze were on the pitch against Man City. I don't mind Elise, but I think given potential blanks and doubles, Exhibit A we have coming up, he's not a priority transfer in. That would be my thoughts on Elise. If you still have him, then fair play, go for it. You can probably start him, but definitely start him because they got Sheffield United. But if you're looking to buy him, I think you can get other players because he doesn't have a double. Will he start? I think Roy's confirmed him to be fit, hasn't he? Let's just dip back into the news, but I'm pretty sure good old Roy has confirmed him to be fit. Isn't that right? I guess the question mark is he going to be risked? Bring in Foden to bench Gordon? Probably. Yeah, probably. That what's happened to Rashford, man? Like, it's such a shame. He's gone from like all the good stuff that he was doing, like during COVID, etc. The confidence he was playing with last season, and now he's going to I went to that nightclub in Belfast, right? It's terrible. I went there. It's not very good, and that was what he spent last week doing. You know, come on, he's surely better than that. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a professional athlete, right? But I swim competitively, and I don't go on nights out, right? Because it really affects my training. I am not a professional sportsman, right? And even I don't go on nights out, really. So if I'm doing that, like Rashford, a professional sportsman getting paid, what I think he's on 275k a week, or is it 375? One of the two. And he's just going out on nights out in Belfast. It's not even in the city that he lives in. It's just not. It's not great. You got to be professional, haven't you? Jimbo the Daddy. He's sent that to me about 10 times. Sterling to Bernardo. Yeah, go on then. Go on then. Spartan's absolutely fine. You can ask me whatever you like. I got to say, I've not put a lot of thought into it, to be honest. I'll pull up my phone because I can't log into Sky on here. Please don't apologise for Sky questions. I'm happy to hear it. KDB or João? I really like João Pedro as captain in FPL, you know, but will he play? There's always question marks on him. But he scored nearly 20 goals this season. Apparently, my Sky Bet account has been locked. I've just got to log back into it. They've locked my Sky Bet account, apparently. To reset your PIN and unlock your account. Yo, Alexandria, of course I can, mate. Right, so hopefully it actually logs me in this time. There you go. For some reason, my Sky Bet account got locked then. That's my score predictions, Alex Andrew. I'll run through them actually because I don't think many people saw them. I've gone 3-0 to Arsenal in the Forest game. I think they keep a clean sheet, score a few. Forest are a bit leaky defensively. Yeah, I reckon 3-0 to Arsenal. Everton and Fulham, I think it's going to be a close game, but I just think Everton have it. I reckon Everton do them 2-1. Brighton and Luton, had it been at the Amex, I'd have Brighton winning that 3-0. But given it's at Kenilworth Road, I think Luton score a couple. I'd still think Brighton win the game, though. I've gone 3-2 in that one. Palace and Sheffield United, I think both teams score and it'll be a draw. I said 2-2. I mean, I think both teams score in a draw. Same with Villa and Newcastle, but probably a bit lower scoring. Man City and Burnley, I think Man City wipe the floor of them. 4-0 I've gone for. Spurs and Brentford, I reckon Brentford nick a goal, but Spurs win it 3-2. Liverpool and Chelsea, I find that Chelsea kind of play to the level of their opponents. When they play a lower team in the league, they sink. And when they play a good team in the league, they really grow into it. So I think it's going to be a close game, but Liverpool just have the edge on quality, in my opinion. I think they win that 3-2. I'm really jealous of Jota owners. West Ham 2, Bournemouth 2. I just think they'll draw. I think both teams are decent going forwards, but it'll probably be a draw. And Wolves and Man United, I've said that's 1-1 as well. I think both teams are on a really similar level, to be honest, at the moment. Yeah, that's my thoughts. Just catch up on the Dan Hilton. I am having major deja vu. And I'm having deja vu within deja vu of reading the score predictions on my screen and someone in the chat saying they need Saka to do well, because I need Saka to do well too. I think I said that on the last stream when I was looking at the score prediction screen. Odegaard to KDB is valid. Thoughts on Haaland? I think if you can get to him and you've got no other fires in your team or transfers to make, why not buy him? But you don't have to. I'll have a look at fan team in a sec. Ben, KDB or João Pedro, who to captain? Gotta say, I probably wouldn't captain either of them. Oh, João Pedro is probably the best player in the championship, wasn't he? I like Kufal to Estupinian, although I'd probably say Walker if you don't have Walker already is better. Odegaard to KDB, it feels a bit luxury this week. Kufal number 1 replacement, I'd probably say Kyle Walker. I think Kyle Walker is my priority defender to get in at the moment. Would you bring in Haaland post the... Yeah, I've kind of said my opinion on that. It's dependent on the team, really. Oh, shit. You have 3 people asking questions and that you take a million years to answer a question. Well, if you want me to take another million years, I can stop you from chatting. How about that? I just get lost on tangents. I'm joking. I won't actually ban you from the chat for saying that. Do you think Haaland plays this game week? Yes, I do. My personal opinion is that he starts. That's just my personal opinion. I have no insider information on Man City other than what's been shared publicly. Would Alexander-Arnold be a better replacement instead of... I guess it depends on the cash you have available. I think if you have... if you have the cash to get Trent, you probably should. But the reason I said Walker is because he doesn't blank in 26. Trent obviously does. So, yeah. And Trent, to be fair, he hasn't actually played. He didn't feature, did he? Obviously, he's probably back, but he hasn't actually played yet. So, if you got the cash, you probably should go Trent, though, right? I mean, when you think of the Liverpool team, Salah, Trent, possibly Jota. There's not many that in the Man City. You can't guarantee that Walker plays the double, can you? But Trent, you can pretty much guarantee he plays every game. So, yeah. I don't mind it, Barmy Army. The one player, though, of all the big dogs to captain, let's have a look at the player rankings a sec. These are the top players for expected points. We'll show you. Top players for expected points here. Of all of those big dogs, I don't like Foden because he doesn't take penalties. Jota, I reckon he's the pen taker for Liverpool at the moment. I just have a feeling. Trent got subbed in where he goes back then, isn't he? I just like captaining penalty takers. It's my thing. Being a penalty taker is really nice. You just get a goal against anyone. I don't mind captaining Solanke. Like I really don't. I guess would you captain Solanke over Foden? That is a bit of a stretch, but I don't mind it. I play TAA. I would play TAA. I think both teams. Well, we'll look at the clean sheet odds. It's probably slightly different from the one I showed, but I think both teams have a reasonably similar chance of, well, Drafthound have it completely different. Apparently, Liverpool are twice as likely to keep a clean sheet, according to Drafthound, that Liverpool are. Liverpool are twice as likely to keep a clean sheet than Newcastle are. Newcastle 17%, Liverpool 33%. So hopefully that helps you there, Alexandru. Fair enough, Isaac. Yeah. Taking out Odegaard is tempting, but he's about to play Nottingham Forest away from home. He's up there for the top players for expected points as well. So this is FPL review. I'd say I really like Drafthound, but I also really like... I use both sources. FPL review, Odegaard's one of the top players this game week. Odegaard, based on minutes, is actually level with De Bruyne for expected points. Obviously, you can plumb in whatever minutes you like. If De Bruyne's playing 70 minutes, then he's going to go higher up, but... yeah. 60, what was it? 66. It's really up to you. Where's my man Haaland? If Haaland plays 60 minutes. 4.5. 4.5? He's better than that. Interesting. FPL review not really backing Haaland this week. Kufal to Walker I like. Likewise Kufal to Trent. Yeah, go on then. I'll review some more teams. So from Priance, Niels, I'll look at yours, and then I'll do 4 more after those. So if you want to stick your FPL ID, I'll do Prianch, Niels, and then 4 more. Cheers, Barmy Army, and Susanna Potts. I'll look at yours. 1 more after Greg. Bryce, all right, stopping there. Bryce, if you want your team reviewed, you're going to have to tell me your FPL ID, but we'll go from there. Big ups, mate. I will do your team. Right. Bless you too. 100. 1746. Preanch, what you got? What's going on with Preanch today? Blimey. Good luck to you, Spartans. So I didn't even answer your Sky question. I got locked out of my Sky account and then I got distracted by the chat. If you're still here, tonight I think I'm going to captain Saka. There you go. Apologies for just... I completely just forgot the question. I'm really sorry. Sorry about that. Got him Foden for Salah. Need out with the second transfer. I wouldn't use it. I was about to say that. I'd probably get Foden in. You could get Haaland in for Archer. You could do that. Or you could say, this team's good enough. I'll be better off having 2 free transfers next week, which you probably will be. I'm going to save on bringing in Haaland. So, yeah. Those are your couple options, I reckon. You could just roll, mate. I think rolling's almost as good as an option. I think rolling and bringing in Haaland this week are equal options for you. Oh, sorry, folks. Hopefully that wasn't too loud when I bashed my mic. 564 Nils. Looking at this team, I would probably bring Trent in for Trippier because he might not play. It's not looking... I'd do Trent to Trippier and then I wouldn't bother bringing in Haaland this week and do it next week. I think I'd do Trent to Trippier with this team, Nils. Barmy Army. 562105. What am I doing here? Typed in the wrong number, sorry. Ake or Walker? I prefer Trent. Just my opinion, though. If you can't afford to get Haaland back in one transfer, then I'd get Walker. Just because Walker's going to play all the games. Well, I'm not going to say he's going to play all the games. He's most likely to play all the games out of the 2. He's definitely better than Ake, in my opinion. Barmy Army. Oh, man. 2 frees. Christ. What a team. 2 threes and your team is good. I don't know what to say. I don't think there's any point bringing Haaland in just because your 3 forwards are perfectly decent for this week, and you can't sell them for Haaland with limited minutes. I'd probably just do Kufal to Walker, and then prep yourself for the double, and then God, you've got a headache on a bench there. But yeah, I'd probably just do one. You've got to use one transfer, haven't you? I'd probably do Kufal to Walker, and then yeah, scratch your head with the other one. But Kufal to Walker is probably the way I'd go. I'd keep Odegaard. Odegaard can be a nice placeholder for Salah, something like that. I just think Nottingham Forest is a fixture. He's got good expected points. I'd just leave him. I think he's fine. You picked him for a reason, right? This could be the week because he's a nice differential, isn't he? What's his ownership? Yeah, 17%. That's not bad. I think Alvarez will. So tell you what. So, right. Picture this scenario. All of KDB, Foden, and Haaland start against Burnley, right? Where does Alvarez fit in? Can he play on the left wing, maybe? Up front alongside sort of Haaland? Is that possible? Captaincy, I'd probably say, oh, good God. I like Palmer, but I'll help you out, Barmy Army. I can't answer that. So I reckon you've got 6 players you could captain in this team. Don't know about KDB. So here with a 6, I think you could captain there. Who else did you have? Foden. Right, those are all the captaincy options you have in that team, in my opinion. So spin the wheel's going to help you. It's probably the one that I would have won. Oh, Odegaard. It's actually told you to captain Odegaard. There you go, mate. Other than that, mate, I'm so unsure. If you think Isak, go for it. Go for it. There's so little between them, mate. When you look at that team, what's your first instinct on a captaincy? Go for that. I'll let you in, Algot. I'll let your team have a review. You've been in since the start, my friend. You deserve a team review. Daniel Potts. I reckon I'd almost definitely do Mubama to Haaland and then bench Pinnock. Yeah, Mubama to Haaland and bench Pinnock, mate. Might as well. Greg Williams. You tell me your FPL ID, Algot. We can do it. Also need a wee. So after this one, I'm going to quickly run to the loo. We got Haaland. Greg's been saving his pennies, hasn't he? Look at that. I'd probably go Richarlison captain. We'll look at Banner Boys as well. Also, did I skip Bryce's team? And we'll look at Bryce. We'll do Bryce, Algot, Tersing, and Banner Boy. And if you want my thoughts, I'd probably do Salah to Foden and then start Foden over Souček. There you go, mate. There you go, Greg. Hopefully that helps you. Bryce. 9139867. Oh, it's bloody frozen on me. There we go. Blimey. I'd just roll. With this team, I would probably captain Saka and then roll. You don't need to make a transfer here. Bryce, your team is absolutely fine. Lovely little climbing rank as well. I think your team's more than fine. Right, Banner Boy. He put his ID in the chat, but I must have missed it. He put his ID in the chat, so yeah, apparently he did it before Barmy Army, but I don't see that. Anyway, we'll look for his ID. So I searched Banner Boy before, mate, but I couldn't find you by that name because I needed an ID. I don't have an ID. If you can send me your FPL ID, mate, that'd be helpful because I'm pretty sure your team's called Banner Boy, you said, but I couldn't find it. See, there's just so many. I couldn't find it. Bryce Dunbright's Algot Terzing. Sorry if I've mispronounced it. 387263. Salah to KDB, you're going to do that, are you? Fair enough, mate. Oh, you don't need to do anything here. You don't need to do anything with this team. Unless you got 2 frees, you don't need to do anything. No, don't need to do anything. Start Solanke over Douglas Luiz. I reckon that team will do you just fine, mate. On that note, I'm waiting for Banner Boy to send his ID, but I really need the loo, so I'll be back in 30 seconds. In fact, did I do it? Oh, I did. I've got a little break screen. Look at that. I'll be back in 30 seconds. I'm just going to the loo. Your boy's back. Yeah, I think Greg with that team, it was Richarlison captain. Let's have a quick look through Twitter, shall we? See if there's any new news that has emerged since I've been streaming, because who knows? Who knows, right? Don't think we got anything new. I'll have a look at people's teams again in a second. I like to have a little break if that's all right, because it's really taxing to like look at all the different teams just one by one and actually give like a well thought out answer. So yeah, it's just nice. It's just nice to take breaks between them. So everyone's sending in your ID. I'll do another round of team reviews in a sec, but my mind just needs a bit of a rest from looking at all the teams because they all look the same. Like well, it's just players on a screen, right? And they blur into one, and it's just hard to make it's just hard to really think about loads of people's teams at once. So, yeah. New badge for Yeovil Town. I used to live in Yeovil. If you go back to the early days of the Golden Goal channel, I'm sat in my bedroom in Yeovil doing a podcast with my mate Sam. That's how this channel began. Back in the old day, me and my little Yeovil bedroom, chilling. Catching Richarlison, which I really rather like. I really rather like that, I do. He expects Haaland to be benched. Interesting. Like I said, Jimbo, mate, we'll have a look at teams. I'll just have a quick look just to see if we got any more news. If these guys tweet anything new. He's out for 2. Ireland's back. I don't have any other fires to put out in my team. Archer isn't even playing for Sheffield United anymore. I think it makes sense. I'm doing it. I'm bringing him in. He's in, and he's starting over Gordon for me. All right, chat. To catch people that are still in the stream, to actually make sure they benefit from me looking at their team, because I mean it's quite conceivable that you put your team ID in, I don't respond, and then you leave the stream. That's perfectly reasonable. So from now on, first 5 team IDs that go in the chat, I will have a look at in draft time. I've just done me transfer. Come on, boys. Right, we'll stop after Dakshin. Okay, I beat him. Anything after Dakshin, we'll probably have a look at just in a sec. Jimbo the daddy. You've just missed out, I'm afraid, my friend. I'll have a look. I'll have a look at yours. All right, we'll stop after Nathan. I'll be nice. I'll stop after Nathan. There you go. Right. I can't leave Jimbo out after he's just put it in. That's not fair, to be fair. Right. Lee Fisher, 42251. Fish and Chips, AFC. Big ups. So I think there's 2 ways you could play this. You definitely need to make a defender transfer, in my opinion. Cher is fit, isn't he? He is fit. You can bring in anyone with the money you've got in the bank at the moment. I definitely look to sell Colwill or Poe Torres. You could bring in Trent Walker or Estupinian. I really like bringing in Trent. Because you can still, I think, even if you bring in Trent, you can still afford to bring Haaland into your team as well. And then also have enough transfers to get Salah for 25. So I like Colwill to Trent. That's probably what I do, Lee, mate. Unless you have any raging opinions against Trent, I think I'd do Colwill to Trent. But you don't have to do that. I'd definitely make a defender transfer, though. Right. CAC 1445882. I still think he plays Barmy Army. I really do. Remember when he? I don't know if you were in the stream when I was talking about it. I can't. It's quite a sensitive thing that happened, so I don't know what words I can use to describe the events on a YouTube live stream. I'm pretty sure I can say this. He got done in the press. Pretty sure it was this season because he got his knob out in a pub in Sheffield. It's literally a video of him doing it on the internet, right? And that is a crime, right? Pictured, filmed on camera, and Pep Guardiola made him the club captain and started him every game. That happened. This is obviously, I'm not comparing the two, but this scandal that he's involved in is like, you know, both of those things are bad. Pep kept him in the team from the first one, so I think he'll be fine. I think he's still going to play. It's just my thoughts. So yeah. Do you reckon? Are you saying Benny gets dropped? Do you? But I think Pep doesn't really care. He just lets the results do the talking. And I think Walker plays through. He seems to just play for everything. Like all of that was going on in his life, and he was still playing good football. So there you go. Obviously, I'm not. Obviously, what he's done is bad. It's horrific. But you know, speaking factually about fantasy football, that's my opinion on it. Right. So there you go. I'd probably do a defender transfer. I'd look at getting Trent or Walker in for Konza or Pinnock. That'd be my moves. Gaming with Dally 7176639. You know what? You don't actually need to make a transfer here. You don't need to. I probably would. I'd start Haaland, and I would probably buy. I'd probably buy Walker or Trent for Pinnock, or no, I'd buy Walker or Trent for Tsimikas. Sorry, one player I haven't given much mention to is Robertson as well. I mean, he could be all right, just not quite as attacking as Trent. Yeah, I consider just start Haaland over Archer and then bring in maybe a defender for Pinnock or no for Tsimikas. Sorry, we won't get rid of Tsimikas. Yeah, he won't be playing anytime soon. Levi J 1332603. I'll look after, so I'm doing up to Nathan's team, and then that's me. Your Nick, son. I'd start Haaland over Ward-Prowse. Oh no, I'd start Haaland over Bruno G. It's an interesting team, this one. You've already got Triple City, so you can't do anything there. I consider bringing in Jota for Ward-Prowse. If we do that. Oh, yeah, I'll probably bring in Jota. So, Jota in for Ward-Prowse. Play him over that. Probably how I'd line up. You don't need to use two. You could use two frees. You could bring in Estupinian in your defence as well if you wanted to. That could work. Probably how I'd do it, Levi J, mate. Nathan Edward is the final team review. Oh, Jimbo the Daddy. Can't forget Jimbo the Daddy. 7814670. It was easy to miss because Levi put his team in twice. So sorry about that, my friend. Jimbo the Daddy. Christ, that's a good team. So you could bring in Haaland for Mubama, but I'd probably roll. I think this team is really nice. 4-4-2, Jota captain. It's really, really nice team. I don't think I'd do anything with it, mate. I would leave it. There's nothing obvious I would do with that team. Banner boy, I'm seeing your team. I literally looked for it, but you didn't send me your ID. So I can't find your team. I have every intention to find it. I've looked for it twice, but searching Banner Boy, nothing comes up. Cheers for that, Samuel. I'm just gonna have a little break. I'll do one more round of team reviews before the end of the stream. Captain at the moment, my friend. There it is. I'm on Saka at the moment. Although, good God, Haaland's tempting, isn't he? Yeah, like I said, I'll do another round of team reviews. I just want to space them out because it's a bit taxing on my brain to just keep looking at people's teams. Hopefully you can imagine, but looking at everyone's teams all at once, it's really hard to think of it in detail. So yeah, I'll give it another 5-10 minutes. I'll do another round of team reviews. Yeah, gone Saka at the moment, Alexandru. Oh, are you actually sending your ID in, Banner Boy? Because this is if it. I promise you, I'm not seeing anything. You can see the chat there. So this is you saying, "Have you seen it?" And then you say, "Miss mine again." I assume you typed in between there your team ID and it didn't work. I don't have it in the chat, I'm afraid, mate. I have every intention of doing it, but I just don't see it in the chat. Yeah, I'll do fan team. That'd be a nice 5-minute break, wouldn't it? 2 secs. I'll crack on the score predictions while I log into fan team. Sorry about that, Banner Boy. Perhaps typing in a word and then pasting the numbers in. For some reason, it blocks the message. I don't know why. Fan team's kind of in the mud for me at the moment, Ben. I'll do a quick 5-minute look at it, but it's kind of in the mud for me at the moment. I will say that. It's really in the mud because I can't even log in. Don't mind Watkins for captain. I think there's 5 or 6 players this week you could genuinely crack the captaincy on and do all right with. Somehow my fan teams are actually looking really good. I don't know how. So we'll do the C's. They're both teams are pretty identical. Bang in Banner Boy, I can see that. I'll just do this fan team and then I'll have a look at your team if that's okay. So here's my fan teams. And to be honest, I'm quite happy with them. Trent's obviously going in. I'll bring him in for Dawson. Bowen can come in for Lamina. Got Gross in there. I can't. Can I bring Haaland straight back in? I probably should, shouldn't I? But right now, I mean, I'm quite happy with my fan team. The beauty about fan team is we know we get to see the lineups for selecting our teams as well. Give advice on him for now. Yeah, see, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't like copying and pasting into the chat. I don't know. There's my fan team. Yeah, go on, Ben. Tweet it to me. I'll have a look at Banner Boy's team a sec, and then I'll anyone that's putting their team ID in the chat and wondering why I'm not responding, we're looking at Banner Boy. He's been here since the start of the stream. Probably been sending me his FPL ID since the start of the stream, and it's not worked. Oh, Daction, I was going to do yours, wasn't I? You were fairly on the list. You were very true, very correct. Yeah, exactly. I just didn't see it, mate. Don't worry. But after all that, I'm afraid, Banner Boy, I don't have a transfer to suggest for you. I mean, there's nothing like that 11, a good bench. It does reaffirm that there's not much to do with your team, but there really isn't anything I do with this team this week. I think it's absolutely fine. You don't have enough to get Haaland in straight away. You've only got one free transfer. You got Salah sitting there. Maybe you could do Salah to Foden and then bench Gross. That could be a way to play it, but you could do that, and then that enables you to do Alvarez to Haaland next week, which is probably the way to go. So yeah, maybe Gross to Foden, but that feels like I'm forcing a transfer there. See what I mean? Hey, that was double hard for me to give that advice, saying don't do anything with your team when you've been putting it in the chat as much as you have, because I want to help you by telling you a transfer, but I always say when you're really unsure about whether you should make a transfer, particularly if you've got a free transfer, right? It's not like you've got two and you have to make one. I always say it's best saving the transfer. But I think you could do Salah to Foden and bench Gross. Yeah, you could do that. If your heart's set on doing that, definitely do it. And to be honest, I think it makes sense because it will set you up for Haaland. It makes sense. It's just whether you want to do it this week or next. But I think if you buy Foden this week, it's probably better than having Gross, right? Daction will do your team quick as well, because you were on the list. It's only fair. Oh, spelled it wrong. I do like João Pedro, you know. I do like João Pedro. I wouldn't captain him because you just don't know if he's going to start, but thank you, Banner Boy. I appreciate that, mate. Yeah. Actually, I wouldn't force anything with this team. I think it's really strong. I don't think you need to make a transfer. If you wanted to make a transfer, I'd probably do Salah to Foden and bench Garnacho. That's probably the move I'd make. But you don't need to do that. It's a similar situation to Banner Boy, really, where your team's good to go. It's just whether you want to make that one luxury transfer, really. Ben's tweeted me his team. Thanks. Thank you for not DMing it to me as well, so I can share that on Twitter. We'll see what the chat thinks. Oh, mate. I'd start Haaland over Gross. That's what I'd do here. I'd start Haaland over Gross. And then you're sorted. If you start Haaland over Gross, I reckon you're sorted, Ben. Just do it. Gross, he's all right, but come on, it's Erling Haaland. You don't need to. I don't think you need to buy. I don't think you need to make a transfer to do that, Ben, personally. I wouldn't make the transfer if it was me in that position. I personally prefer Trent in fan team, especially. So I'd get Trent in and swap him for Konza for sure. If you can get to Trent. Or do I start Dubravka or Kaminsky? That's my question in fan team. I could also do E. How many transfers have I got? 1 free. Probably going to leave it then. God, it's painful. And then in my bloody... I'm making 20 quid so far. So, you know, better than a slap in the face, I guess. This other team is pretty identical. I've just got... I've just got Nunes instead of Isak, which means it's really hard to bring Haaland back in. Saka captain. Palmer vice. We'll just get with that. We won't make a transfer this week, just because we're a little bit unsure of Haaland's minutes. We're going to play conservative. We're going to play the long game. Right. So have a quick look for some Twitter news. I'll give my brain a little break, and then we'll do one more round of team reviews. Thank you, Shaniel, mate. I appreciate your contributions in the chat, keeping everyone happy. It's very kind of you, spending your time doing that, mate. Thank you very much. That helps me out a lot. Also, Son's going to be back soon as well. What do you guys think of that quote? I think he's clutching. Don't know what you think, though. Thinnest squads in the league, I don't know. Probably right, to be fair. Korea aren't out, are they? They're just drawing 0-0 at the moment. They're not out yet. There's Haaland's projected goals according to the betting market. Watkins, Tony, or Darwin? Probably say Tony or Darwin. I would Tony or Darwin. Thanks. Oh, Dakshin, no worries, mate. You get that work done, my friend. It's good to have you in the stream. Will Gabriel start this week? I think so, mate. I think Gabriel starts this week. I think Salah comes back game week 24. Would be my view. Chip strategy. I'm looking at free hitting in game week. If we look at the old Krellin fixtures, I think I'm going to free hit in game 29. I'm going to triple captain in game week 25. So let's just roll through a sec. This is my chip strategy. You might think I'm an idiot, but I'm going to triple captain game week 25. It'll either be on Salah or Haaland. I think it makes sense. Small double game week. You don't really want to use a wild card or a bench boost or anything like that. So I reckon triple captain game week 25. I will free hit in game week 29 just for the sheer amount of blank game weeks. Excuse me. The sheer amount of blank game weeks I think we're going to have, unless we get a little bit. I think we'll probably know a bit more info before 26, but it's either 26 or 29 I'll free hit, probably 29. And then I will probably Wild card in game week 33. Prepare for a double game week in 34, where I will probably play my bench boost. The idea is I'll use my wild card to pick 15 players that either double or have really good fixtures in game week 34, and then I'll hit the bench boost button in game week 34 and hit the bench boost for the double game week. I think that's how I'm going to play it. It's my chip strategy. I don't know if it's the same or different to other content creators or anyone else in the game, but I think it makes sense with my team to do that. I've bought Haaland as well. He's in now. But it's a big question mark on who do I captain at the moment, I must say. Captaincy is a big old question mark. I just don't know. I also think with the nature of Salah's injury, he's a really unbelievable athlete. But he's done his hamstring, and hamstrings take a month to get better from. They just take a month. That's how long they take. With all the, apart from drugs to heal quicker, you can't really do much. You just have to let it heal, and it usually takes 3 to 4 weeks. And I think he's going to be back game week 24. He'll be back in time for 25 and their potential double. But yeah, big ups, Melvin. Thank you for coming along. I appreciate you, my friend. I'd go double Arsenal defence, mate. I think Sheffield United can score. I'd go double Arsenal defence. Right, I'll go for a couple more minutes and then I'll do another round of team reviews. Predictions for the game. There you go. There's my predictions. I don't like captaining Foden, Dan. I don't like him as captain. I think if either Haaland or Kevin De Bruyne play, it slightly stifles his output. And he doesn't take the penalties. Whatever happens, Foden is not going to take the penalties. And I like captaining a penalty taker. Just my view, just my opinion, but yeah, it's just my thoughts there. I don't like captaining Foden because he's not on penalties. That's my thoughts really on that one. Sidemen Shorts, it's lovely to see you in the chat, mate. Been a while, my friend, since you've been trolling me in my chat. Only joking. You don't troll. You just have a little joke. I've done the quiz already, though, I'm afraid, so you're not able to win this week. I would probably start Palmer for the penalties, but that is a horrible decision, and I reckon there's someone else that could be benched. No, I just understand that, Dan. I would be 50-50 too, Barmy Army, with the two. I really would. Oh, I can't show that. Saudi Arabia. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. It's lucky I wasn't because I just played a clip. Saudi Arabia have taken the lead against South Korea. Any XP? Yeah, it's not very kind, unfortunately. Well, we'll show you both sources. So Draft Hound. Solanke's all the way down here. He's on like 4 XP, which I think is really odd. And then Foden and Alvarez and De Bruyne and blah, 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 they're all up here. But when you look at, surely FPL review is going to be nicer for Solanke. I'd always start the forward Algot. I'd always start Watkins, I think. Oh, the free model's going to close, isn't it? Solanke's not here. He's all the way down there. I think it's really harsh on Solanke, I gotta say. You mean a captain issue? Everyone's got a captain issue, GT. Of that lot, I like Richarlison. He'll play the most minutes and he probably takes penalties. Of that lot, I'd say I'd captain Richarlison. Alvarez is decent, yeah. They're all decent. Like I can't tell you that they're all bad because they're not. It's the kicker is picking the one that's the best. They're all good. So that's the problem we've got. Yeah, I think Foden's definitely going to play. Might even, to be fair, he might get a shot on the left. Don't know. But Foden's definitely going to play at 100. Saka out to Kevin De Bruyne. That is war. Wow. Fair enough, Barmy Army, if you're feeling that way. I'm going to see what the other YouTube guys are doing as well. They all streaming. Oh, excuse me. If you're enjoying the stream, please do leave a like rating if you haven't already. I'd appreciate that. Raptors captain in Richarlison. So is Andy. Harry's captain in Foden. FPL Tom's captain in Alvarez. Who's focal captain in? Saka. Planet FPL James. He's captain in. So I'm just looking on my phone at all the streams. It's alright, because Song blanks in 26, so you don't need to worry about him. Planet FPL James is captaining Haaland. Gianni Batici. Who else is live? FPL Mate. He's captaining Foden. Oh, man. The captaincy across all the FPL content creators is so torn as well. That was interesting to look at. I would bench João Pedro, probably. Oh, God, that's horrible. Yep, agree, Dan. You should make a Discord channel. Oh, mate, I tried. There is a Golden Goal Discord channel out there, but I just could not keep on top of it. I have, just for information, I've got a full-time job. I swim competitively. Got a girlfriend, mates that I like to spend time with, and this YouTube channel. I found it so hard to look after a Discord alongside. I don't watch telly, Ben. I have, like I said, all those things going on. I have zero time to watch TV. So I didn't watch the traitors. I probably should, but I just don't have time. Just don't have time, I'm afraid. Fair enough, GT. If Chelsea lose to Villa in FA Cup roof. Oh, blimey. FPL Harry's on Foden, Ben. It's nice looking at the other YouTubers, isn't it? It's rough, innit? It's rough today. Sorry, that was just me open-mouthed watching FPL Harry stream for a second then. It wasn't frozen. Is João Pedro a better voice than KDB? Oh. I'm just not sure if Pedro starts. He probably does, right? And yeah, given he's on penalties, probably is. He probably is. Right. Everyone's been sending in their teams. So, from this point onwards, the next 5 FPL IDs that go into the chat, I'll look at your team. Kian is the first one. Victor Frankl. Hang on, have you got 5? I'll let Gordon in. I'll stop after Gordon. Victor, I had a fantastic time in Copenhagen. Thank you very much. It was great. I appreciated your recommendations. It was really nice. Our hotel was really nice. Everything was really clean. Everything was really quiet. I really liked it. I really had a good time. I've not been to many cities where I come home feeling refreshed. But I came home from Copenhagen and it felt like I'd actually been on holiday. It was really good. I can't complain. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I've got nothing more to say. Thank you for your recommendations. My favourite place I went to, was it the Glyptotheket, something like that? It was lovely. I had a coffee with my girlfriend by the dome bit they've got with the garden and the little pond. It was lovely. So yeah. Anyone, by the way, Victor's got some recommendations, some good recommendations. Anyone that's looking for a city break, Copenhagen, it's good. Yeah, your country was great. Thank you, my friend. Might have a picture to share. I'll have a look at teams in a sec. Do I have any pictures of which I can share? There you go. There's me on the touristy street, if you can see that. There I am, touristing in Copenhagen. What else is there? I won't show you a picture of my girlfriend. You don't need to. She doesn't need to be on my YouTube. Any other pictures worth sharing? There's me in the Glyptotheket gallery, pointing at a random picture. I went to the Botanic Gardens as well. That was very nice. There's me and some leaves in the Botanic Gardens. Right, teams. People don't care about that. They want to look at teams, don't they? It's the FPL deadline. Right, so Kian Dunphy is first up. One, 8, 2, 6, 3, 7, 6. No worries, GT, my friend. I just wouldn't do anything with this team. I think I'd start Solanke over Saliba and then roll. Really, really nice team, this. I'd just start Solanke over Saliba and roll, mate. Nathan Edward. I'm not massive on Foden, I've got to say. Not as captain. Obviously, I'd have him, but I'm not big on him as captain. Sorry, spaghetti and beans. I've called stumps at my message. This is a really nice team as well. The only problem is you don't have a bench that plays. Nathan Edward with your 2 free transfers. I'd probably do Sterling to Richarlison. No, Sterling to Jota. Do Sterling to Jota. That's what you should do. Sterling to Jota. There you go. Yes. I'm really sorry, Aaron. I'm going to say Aaron because I cannot pronounce that name. I'm sorry, pal. I've never come across anyone with your name before. So I will look at your team anyway because I'd rather know how to pronounce it correctly than butcher it. Oh, good lord. Trippier to Trent. I'd probably take a -4 here. Trippier to Trent. Colwill to Walker. Salah to Jota. That's what I'd do. That's for a -4, mate. But I'll probably do it because you can't field 11, so it makes sense to take a hit. Hugo Hansen. Oh, no, Dan Hilton was next. There he is. Blimey. You could make a transfer, but I don't think you need to. I would roll Dan. I don't think you need to make a transfer here. I think that's fine. Hugo Hansen. Oh no, I've typed it wrong. There he is. With this team, good God. I'd probably do Craig Dawson to Kyle Walker. And probably roll. I'd probably start, yeah. I'd do Dawson to Walker, roll the other transfer. Captain Richarlison. Gordon Hamilton. It's the last one I'm going to do. My brain is fried. I've done a full day of work and then this. Now I'm going to go to the gym afterwards as well and then record a video. So it's all going on today. Gordon Hamilton, this team is absolutely lovely. And I'd probably start Haaland over Gordon and then leave it. That's how I'd go, mate. Probably Captain Jota over Foden, personally. Because I think he takes the Liverpool pens. Other than that, mate, that's a lovely team, Gordon. And then that's my message to say, cut off. That's not your team. No! What did I get wrong? 16937. Oh, there we go. Look at me, wasting time on a random team, eh? I don't know if Nunez is on pens. I think it might be Jota. Just saying. Good grief. I would do... I would probably do Odegaard to Foden. Yeah, Odegaard to Foden. Do it. And then bring in Haaland next week. Odegaard to Foden, mate. And then bring in Haaland next week is what I'd do here. I don't know what your actual plan or if you've done any, but I think I would do Odegaard to Foden. Is Haaland a good captain option? I am pulling my hair out, Victor. I can't lie. It's hard. I'm on Saka currently. I've bought Haaland this week. You've missed it, mate. You've missed my transfer. I bought Haaland. I did it. I figured, why not? What's the worst that could happen? Gordon scores a hat-trick. But I think he's a good option. I think he's better than Foden. Because if he plays, he takes the penalties for Man City. I always say I like to captain a penalty taker. That's always like the criteria for me from a captain. I rarely captain a player that doesn't take penalties, which is why at the moment I've gone Saka over Foden, because I think Saka's a better captain than Foden because he takes penalties. Yeah, it's really tough. I could go for Haaland, you know. It's between Saka and Haaland now for my captain armband. Palmer was an option, but he's got pretty much the best defence in the league that he's up against, so it's a hard sell. Hard sell to go for him. Barmy Army, I would get a coin out and I would flip it. Quite honestly. Really hard. That's a really hard one. I think Haaland gets 30 minutes max. We'll see. Spin the wheel, mate. Spin a wheel. Got any news? We might get a Man City leak. Bench Garnacho for Solanke. Oh, I'd always start Solanke. He takes penalties, mate. Definitely start. Coin of truth emoji. You need one. The Indonesian coin of truth. I just can't find it. I had a really good look, like under my desk in my bed before I went on holiday, because I had a good clean out of my room, and I still couldn't find it. All said Estupinian. There you go then. 4-3 Arsenal. That's my prediction according to that. Gone back to Indonesia. Might have done. I do have my girlfriend last year went to South Korea and brought back some North Korean money, so I might have a North Korean coin of truth. Spinny and Klopp's predictions. Pretty close to mine, to be fair. This is a really good account to follow, by the way. I'm following you. I think South Korea are currently, excuse me, currently losing, aren't they? Yeah, that's the first thing that comes up when I type in BBC. Saudi won. I'm pretty sure I 1-0 up. Gusto to Trent, I like it. Solid. Oh, no. I can do 4 options on a poll. I'm going to say this. Captain. I'm going to say Foden. Saka. Other Man City player. That's my captaincy poll. Why would you not get Walker? I don't get why you wouldn't get Walker. Get Walker. Eze for Son, who could be back next week. Pedro for Archer. I don't mind Pedro for Archer, but Eze in for Son might be a bit of a risk. That's all I'm saying. You're Saudi Arabian for the next 20 minutes. That's all I'm saying, Andrew Barton. That's about as sensible as a poll I think I could get. Uzana, yo, the poll is gone apparently. It should be. The poll is still there. You might have to reload your YouTube or reload my video. Oh, I've gone full screen by accident. The poll should still be there. I'm afraid we've done team reviews to death now, Izana. Have a look through the stream. I've done about 25 teams. You'll see one that's similar to yours. All good, Andrew. You never know what happens. I think South Korea is still the best team in Asia, so they could still come back. Ben, honestly, I'm going to be really honest. I don't really watch FPL YouTubers. No, I just don't have time. That's an absolute cop out to your question. But I really don't have time to watch other content creators. On top of work, swimming, gymming, and this, I don't have time. So I don't really have a favourite. When I looked at the streams, I instinctively went to FPL Harry to see who he was captaining, because I'm pretty sure of all of them, he's got the best rank history. But yeah, I'm sitting on the fence, but I really don't watch other FPL content. Thoughts on Joey Barton? He's just saying outrageous things to get traction. Some of the things he says, I'm sure a lot of people agree with. Some of the things he says, I'm sure a lot of people agree with. But he's just creating outrage to spark interactions and get traction on a podcast that he started. It seems to be the way to garner attention these days. And that's all he's doing, to be honest. It's not that clever, to be honest. That's just my thoughts. I do think for Joey, unfortunately, some of the things he said is a bit hypocritical. He was saying that women can't comment on football because they haven't played the game. But he also then commented on racism, which he's obviously not been a victim of. So, it's... I just don't... Some of the points don't add up for me. That's all I'm saying. Obviously, you can have an opinion on everything. That's not an issue, but he was kind of contradicting himself with what he was saying, I think, which didn't really hit with me. So, yeah. And he was the former manager of Bristol Rovers, my rival team. So, I mean, there's a song that Bristol City fans sing about his mum. So, yeah. Who's going to win the Prem? Man City. Who's going to go down? Sheffield United. I think the table's pretty much done already, to be honest. I think Man City win the league. I think it's going to be a really close between them and Liverpool. I think Arsenal have gotten better, but Liverpool have really done all right this year. And then the 3 to go down. It probably is those 3, to be honest. No, don't apologise for the questions. It's really, really helpful. It's nice to spark a bit of conversation. The thing with Liverpool as well, and I can totally respect Klopp's reasons for wanting to leave the job, but it's just extra motivation for those players to win the league, isn't it? Klopp's last season, UCL winner, probably Man City again. Could well be Real Madrid as well, but they don't have a striker at the moment. If Real Madrid signed Mbappe, they'd clean up, I think. They need to sign him, but they don't have a striker. So probably Man United, Victor. Probably. Yeah, it's like Hosselu, isn't it? Hosselu up front. He's scoring goals, but Hosselu is not going to win you a Champions League. How many goals he got? Be funny. It would shut me right up if he's number 1. Nah, Bellingham's up there, isn't he? I think Klopp's going to retire from management, Channel, or at least have a break. I don't think he's got another club lined up. I think he's just knackered. I think there might be like an underlying health problem or something. Like his job and how passionate he gets and emotional he gets during the games. You can only do that for a number of years, right? He could manage the national team. I just think he's going to have a break. I think there's something that he just needs a break. But yeah, there's the La Liga top scorer. I mean, what's his name? Forgotten what he's called. What's he called? Hosselu. That's it. That's exactly. He's going to have a heart attack if he's not careful. I mean, like if you were his mate, you'd say you need a less stressful job. Maybe a doctor's told him that, and that's why he's reining it in. Where's Hosselu? Here's Hosselu. 21 games, 5 goals. I mean, he's not the striker that's going to win Madrid a Champions League, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't mind Jota as a captain. I think he could be the Liverpool penalty taker. Oh, the 1 hour jet lag, Victor. Yeah, I did. It was all good. I'm not feeling any effects, thank you. I would also put that down to the fact that the hotel we stayed in was amazing. Hotel Mayfair, it was called. I don't know what that was. Hotel Mayfair, it's called. And it had the most comfortable bed I've ever slept in. So I had lots of good sleep over in Denmark. So that was nice. Bristol City just outside the playoffs. I reckon same with Norwich. I reckon we'll both just miss out. I think... Oh, man. Erling Haaland will not start. Ugh. I don't... See, early Haaland team news, I'm not sure on. Because... Do you think Pep Guardiola knows what his team is yet? Do you think Pep Guardiola has actually picked his team yet? I don't think he has. So I don't think anyone can be sure. So I'm not buying that. I'm not going to captain him, but I'm not sure if Pep's actually picked his 11 yet. Alexandria's got him as captain. I would start him. I probably wouldn't captain him. And I've got, well, you see my team. I've got Saka captain. I just don't know how anyone else would know Pep Guardiola's team. I agree with you. With my team, it was sensible to bring Haaland in. Because I had 2 frees, nothing else to do with my team. It just makes sense. So, and I've not captained him. See what Andy Martin's done. He's got Willian. That's insane. Darwin captain, that's quite nice. He's benched Palmer for Willian. That is insane. Still proud to own Erling Haaland though, ladies and gents. I'm still a proud owner. Even if he doesn't play, it doesn't matter. Oh, I'd bench Haaland. I think I'd bench Haaland. Fuck, that's hard, but I think I'd bench Haaland. Hopefully I answered your question, Alexandru. I kind of said I've never captained him. I don't think there's anything wrong with picking him. I just wouldn't captain him, mate. God, what an absolute... What a bloody deadline. What a bloody deadline. It will start to become an issue very soon, Shaniel, when both Salah and Son are fit. Liverpool will have a double game week when you'll want Trent. So you will want in your team all of Salah, Trent, Son, Haaland, Salah. I've said Salah, haven't I? You want all of them in your team at the same time, and then money will become an issue. Everyone's saying Foden, mate, Ben. Everyone's saying Foden captain. I've gone for Saka. I prefer a penalty taker. Captain Poll just tells you what other people are doing. I'm set on Saka, mate. I'm quite happy captaining Saka. Probably backfires, but oh well. I just don't trust a non-penalty taker as captain. Oh. Bench Haaland or Gross? Whoa. Gross. I think captain KDB, I don't mind it. I don't think he's going to play the full 90. And Alvarez probably takes the pens for City if he starts. So I don't know. I don't mind KDB captain, but I prefer Richarlison. I prefer Saka. And I prefer... Yeah, probably say Richarlison. I wish I had Richarlison, man. I wish I had Richarlison. I was just going to tweet out my team to people on Twitter. I don't know about the South Korea score, mate. I won't lie. Oh, look at that. I don't know if you've seen that. You can't see that. There you go. That's an absolute banger of a tweet to come in now, isn't it? That's what he said. I think KDB could be a better pick than Haaland for this week. It's one of the Insider City accounts. Oh, Malte. I've stopped doing team reviews. I'll make one exception. I reckon so, Ben. I wouldn't make any transfers, Malte. I'd start. I'd do that. I'd do that, mate. That's my 11 I'd have for you. Captain Saka, start that team. That's how I'd play it, mate. Haaland can be next week's pain and worries. Currently starting Porro, Walker, Estupinian with Gabriel and Doty on the bench. Anything you do different? No. Bowen over Gross for me. I think he's just a little bit better. Oh, I thought you meant starting. I'd still say Bowen. I did do a transfer. I did Archer to Haaland. I had 2 frees, money in the bank to do it. I figured it was a pretty non-losser. Yeah, I was going to do one at the end of the season, actually, Ben. I was going to do one at the end of the season. I feel like that would be a nice end of the season video to do. And then that'll basically be 2 years on FPL YouTube. Member requests. I'll definitely do one of them after the end of the season, Ben. It didn't do, the actual video itself didn't do very well for views, but it's one of the highest rated videos I've ever done. I think people seem to enjoy the fact that I was very open and honest about my analytics, which have no protection over them, really. I'm quite happy to share. It's just numbers on a screen at the end of the day. There are people on YouTube making a lot more money than me, so I'm definitely not afraid to share what I own. Also, just in general, I'm so grateful for the views that my videos have had over the last month or so. I think I've had the best month I've ever had on YouTube in the last month. It's been absolutely crazy. So really, thank you to everyone that's subscribed, watched the stream, liked, shared, subscribed, whatever. Thank you. My plan for chips are to... Oh, blimey. Dead end my team to Gameweek 29 and then wildcard in Gameweek 30 because I've already used my free hit. Fair enough. I think that makes sense. You have clearly thought about that. And there is not a one-size-fits-all chip strategy either, in my opinion. I'm just going to have a look at these Twitter messages a sec. Off screen. You're stuck with your team with 2 minutes to go. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to help you. Actual deadline is in 2 minutes. 6 p.m. KDB is capped. I think that's fine, mate. I think it's all right. It's not the end of the world. KDB is going to get 3 goals, 3 assists. Something like that. I'll do something absolutely crazy. Malte, good luck to you. 1 minute to go. I think now's the time to pretty much call it with your teams. So anyone that's still here, I wish you all the best for Game Week 22. I'm going to go to the gym, let the football games happen, have some dinner, and then I'll make a buy and avoid video, crack that out as soon as it's ready tonight. Good luck, everyone. What's the countdown saying? 10 seconds. Yeah, bad luck, Ben. Bad luck to you too, mate. I want to increase rank as well. Alexandru, Victor, Ben, thank you. Cheers all. There it is. The deadline. Salute you all. I think that's it for me. I've been live for 2.5 hours. I'm knackered. If you don't mind, I'm going to go and have a bagel. Hope everyone has a good week. All the best for this game week. I'll see you, Saturday morning. We've got another one Saturday morning, haven't we? They're thick and fast. See you Saturday morning.